Hi everybody, it's Michelle Myers. I wanted to do a quick video because one of the questions I'm asked most often is how do I stay motivated? And so I've been reading in the book of Daniel. It's one of my favorite Old Testament books. I just love looking at his life and seeing how he just lived out loud for Christ. And it may seem a little crazy, but I want to tell you how you can actually take the life of Daniel and just pieces of the last few chapters that I've been reading and how this kind of mindset helps me to stay motivated by looking at his life. So one of the first things is that you have to demonstrate conviction in this area, that God has truly convicted you about your health, because it's a conviction of mine and it comes from years of disobedience through an eating disorder. But I'm very convicted that God has called me not only to take care of my body as his temple, but that it's a passion that he's put inside of me for a reason to help other people. And so you've got to demonstrate that conviction. Think about Daniel and how when he was brought into the king's palace and he was given the choice foods and everything, and they declined and asked for water and vegetables because he knew that to sustain strength, that it wasn't the rich foods that was going to provide the nutrients that he needed. He needed the nutrients that came from vegetables. And Daniel was strengthened and well fed and was not malnourished as they were concerned about, because he acted on conviction. Now, am I telling you to become a vegetarian and eat vegetables? No, but that was a conviction that God had put on Daniel's heart about his own health. And so you have to take those convictions to heart and you have to act on them. So demonstrate conviction in the areas that God has given you. Second of all, we have to stay grounded in that truth. It's not something that God convicts you about one time and then you just move on and you're, never vary from it. But you have to continue prayer, and you have to continue reading in scripture, and you have to continue to ask God to continue to teach you and mold you in this area. It's something that, because I'm passionate about it, a lot of times when I'm reading scripture, like I'm sure that there are many people that have read the book of Daniel and they've gotten something different out of it, but because this is something that I've asked God to continually teach me about, it's something that I can see when I'm reading his word consistently, that I hope that I can pass on and encourage others. And so stay grounded, memorize scripture, give yourself visual memories that are inscribed in your heart and written on your tank tops or whatever, that helps you to be able to remember the truths that you have and the conviction that you have in this area. And then lead by example. Daniel was never one to follow the crowd. He wasn't one that just said, well, everybody else is doing it, so I guess that's okay for me too. He was one that was willing to lead the charge of change and able to say, hey, listen, let's stand up for this cause and let's stand up for this conviction. And God continually honored that. And so if you will lead by example, your example is going to be so much more powerful than your words. And so if this is an area where God has convicted you, you don't have to preach at people and look down on what they're eating. You just have to be able to have that conviction in your heart to where this is how you are going to live, and ask God that, if he wants to use your example to convict others, that he would, but just be true to yourself and what he has called you to do. And then the last thing that God just really spoke to me this morning that has made me have to make this video is that you can't be led astray by fleeting motivators that won't matter in eternity. So in Daniel chapter 5, verse 17, the king has brought Daniel before him to interpret some writing that was on the wall. And he's basically said, if you can tell me what this writing says, I will make you third in my kingdom. And it says, then Daniel answered and said before the king, let your gifts be for yourself and give your rewards to another. But I will read the writing that's on the wall. And so Daniel wasn't in it for whatever the king could give him. He was in it because it was the right thing to do. And so if opportunities come your way, like to be a fitness model or to teach classes or to be a personal trainer or to be a role model in fitness, that's not why you do it. You do it because God has convicted you that it's the right thing to do. Bear in mind, I just read to you from Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 6 is when Daniel is thrown into the lion's den. And so favor with man is fleeting, and we cannot rely on that for our worth or our reason. We have to be grounded in truth that comes from eternity. So I hope that can help you to keep you motivated in your health and fitness. It's got to be something that's deep rooted inside of you that comes from conviction from the Lord if you really want it to stick. Having flat abs, flattery, compliments, whatever, those things are not going to last and they're not going to satisfy you. It has to come from a satisfaction that comes from the Lord, because that is going to be the only motivation that will keep you there. So thank you for watching. Please feel free to tag somebody in the comments that you feel would be motivated and inspired by this. I appreciate you guys always being so encouraging of the things that God is teaching me. But anyway, till next time.